Welcome to The Walking Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And we are back. It's been...
No one more surprised than I.
No? Really? You were surprised we came back for Season 8 when we said we were going to in Season 7? Things change, you're right.
Things do change.
But we took a look at the pieces on the board and we said, yeah, Walking Dead makes sense.
I mean, it would be a weird... the tap out during the All-Out War season would be an odd one to go out on.
You know, I feel like I could have said that about every season, though. Like, this is going to be the one.
The top out on the Negan era, the tap out on the Governor era, the tap out... Yeah,
they've been stringing us along for a while now. We're apparently still suckers.
It's interesting because this is about the point where I stopped reading the comics.
Oh, okay.
I completed the All Out War storyline, and then a couple issues past that, but there's no really way to discuss where I was at without spoiling things. So,
okay.
Let's talk in general about our coverage. Are we going back to Tuesdays?
I think so.
In season 7B, we moved Walking Dead coverage to Mondays because of it getting crowded with the Westworld on Sunday as well. I don't think there's any Sunday competition
certainly not that we're covering.
All right, so Tuesday it is. We're back on Tuesdays. We're still doing the live watches, 9:00 Eastern time. If you don't want to live watches, if you're a club member, you can go to our website and we broadcast a live video of us watching The Walking Dead that you can sync up to your live broadcast and then enjoy a Mystery Science Theater style, just watching a fun watch of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
We make fun of local commercials. It's a good time.
It's live reaction type stuff.
We're doing that in lieu of an instant take, and then we'll have the full coverage out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
As always, you send in feedback to walkingdead@baldmove.com. Let's talk about season 8.
Okay. Have you seen all of the marketing materials? Because I went last night and I looked on AMC's website and pretty much watched everything they had on season 8.
Okay, what do they got? Because I've seen the sneak preview for the upcoming episode this Sunday, Mercy. Mm-hmm. I've seen the extended Comic-Con trailer, and that's about it. What else have they got? So
they've got an extended cut of Carl's scene where he goes to the gas station. Have you seen that?
No.
So it's basically the same. I think it's the same gas station where Rick went in the first season, and he has basically the same scene that Rick had with that little girl.
Really? The little girl's still
zombie.
Kicking around?
No, she's not. Oh. It's not the little girl this time. It's some dude who's spouting a bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
Seems like he's high or something. I don't know.
High on 64 ounces of chocolate pudding.
Or heroin. The effects are similar. I can never tell. But yeah, I thought it was actually cool the way it mirrored season 1.
All right.
And they do a couple of things like that. But that was one of them. And then the other...
Ooh, I wonder if they're foreshadowing... Because that's one of the things that Kirkman has said long-term his plan for The Walking Dead is to have this like kind of Prince Valiant situation where Carl... Mm-hmm. You'll appreciate Carl as the hero of the story. I wonder if this is the beginning of that arc.
It could be.
Because, we've talked about one of the unique problems that you have in The Walking Dead, the series that you don't have in the comic book, is that actors get older. Mm-hmm. They need more money to keep doing the same job. There's like lots of problems of keeping a cast together for this long. I wonder if they're gonna like start to slowly move things to put on Chandler Riggs' shoulders and exit out some of these characters.
It could be. To expound on that, we saw a scene in this season where. Or I guess in the previous for this season that we just watched, where we think it's Rick is in like a cargo container, and he's kind of he does not look like he's having fun. He seems to have been captured, so maybe that affords Carl some opportunity to go out and do his own thing,
right?
Even more than he has been lately.
I'm kind of hungry for more Carl storylines. I really like what they did with Carl and Negan by and large. I really like the relationship with Enid, as well. He's one of the more compelling characters.
Sure.
Never would have thought
and
that
maybe
in season
because
2.
he doesn't have a ton of screen time, right? Like a lot of this screen time that people are getting, I feel they're repeating themselves.
Yes.
It's filler. Like,
whereas I've never seen a child live through an apocalypse and become a man.
Yeah.
That's an interesting storyline. I'd like to hear more of that.
So yeah, maybe that's why he's out there at that gas station. And the other piece of material I've seen from AMC was this ultra patronizing interview / preview with like all of the cast members.
Is it the best season yet? Is it the most shocking?
It is, and it's not even that they say, "Oh, it's better than it's ever been," and the audience like it's amazing. It's the way that they tell the audience what they should be excited about. Like, the audience will love this. The audience is excited about this. Don't fucking tell me what I'm excited about. Just show me. Just confidently present your material, and I will get excited if appropriate.
Yeah, this audience would be excited for a well-told conventional storyline involving well-defined protagonists and antagonists.
That's all
and
I ever
war.
wanted.
Yeah. Don't need time jumps. Don't need exploding out a single-story character for several hours. Yeah, I just would like to see this story told.
And part of me feels like maybe they're taking to heart the shitting that they've been getting lately, which just like people ripping them from every side, except for like the clearly paid off critics, mainstream, who don't give a shit about quality. They're just looking for hype. And I feel bad because they clearly have no confidence in their work to just stand on its own,
right,
and just be there and let the audience enjoy it. So they're out there like saying this is going to be amazing, and you should be excited about this. You should be excited about that. Fuck you.
Well, I do have. I mean, fuck me, because
there's some stuff to be excited about.
Because I do think also that AMC felt a little bit of sting to their pocketbook this last season because the audience crested and then receded, and then last season receded big time after the season premiere. And I feel like that, maybe that would convince them to inject a little bit of time and attention and cash. We're going to discuss...
Maybe, but their attitude still seems to be very, very tepid, very like scared.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
like off foot.
But we're gonna. The other thing is like before we get to this, because we're gonna talk about our thoughts about the season, upcoming season. Then we're gonna talk about the legal paperwork and lawsuit bombshells that dropped in the off season, and then we're gonna talk about the spoiler section. So I got more to talk about this kind of optimism in that, but I mean. Because I was reading this Rolling Stone kind of like primer for season 8, and I couldn't believe how fucking like excited they were. But they were making some solid points, like the fact that like maybe they're due for a bounce back. That they the things that you always have hope for Game of Thrones is that it's got a stellar cast, and the zombies still look great, and the world is still interesting. Yeah. No, okay. I mean I think Walking Dead cast is good. Like Lenny James, Andrew Lincoln.
They have some really good actors, yeah.
Yeah, Melissa McBride. No.
Melissa McBride.
I always think that I fucked that up. It's like sounds like I've confused her with a country western singer.
She does have a country singing
but
voice.
But they've got a lot of really really good actors and really good characters. Yeah. Their weak point has always been writing and directing, and those are fixable problems as we've gone on for 7 seasons now.
You know what it takes to fix those problems? Money.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing they seem unwilling to part with.
Well, we'll see. Because that's like, and again, that's a fixable problem. That's a fixable problem, too.
They're willing to part with directors. They're willing to part with showrunners. They are not willing to part with their money.
They're Scrooge McDuckin, their production. Scrooge McProductions. But I feel like that, this is a very straightforward, exciting, set-piece driven story that it's hard to imagine how you can shortchange. However, the other thing when I was looking at this trailer, how much of this stuff is from... I guess it's all got to be from this half season because they hadn't even started to shoot the other. But like I'll be excited and impressed if All Out War is done in the first 8 episodes. If it drags to the next, then it's like, okay, it still could be good, but I don't think it's as good as if they had packed it in there. Mm-hmm. Because again, the comics are way the fuck ahead.
Yeah,
like they could burn through this in a half season and then come back in the next half season with the next thing they want to do.
Especially now that there are signs of slowing, right?
Right, and also
this is no longer Willy Wonka's magical mystery tour,
right?
they're actually slowing down in momentum.
Yeah, and there's also been other signs of cracking. Like, there was this rumbling from Chandler Riggs' dad about getting him out of it. Like, hey, Chandler wants to go to college and do all, like, maybe not work on just Walking Dead for his whole life. And it's been an open question of how long you can keep a guy like Norman Reedus and Andrew Lincoln under contract to do this show. Maybe up until now, the word from on high has been stretch this out as long as possible, and now it's like, you know what? Let's just tell the story why we got the cast and crew together and see what we can make of it.
Yeah, I think people are tired of the stretching, and it shows in the numbers of people watching it.
Yeah,
and I'll say this: 8 years ago, they didn't quite have the competition on TV that they have now.
True, very
there
true.
There are so many good shows out there.
It gets worse / better every year.
Right. I mean, the television just keeps getting better.
Yeah, every show, like there's show like I've never watched Stars. I watched Stars because American Gods this year.
Right.
There's a network that's putting their name, Hulu. I've watched Hulu for Saturday Night Live, and I've enjoyed some of their stuff, but they had a widely acclaimed Handmaid's Tale. There's a lot of and fucking Netflix and Amazon are going after like HBO in terms of quality and quantity like no one else. It's getting really crowded out there. It's a good point.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I feel like there was a lot of derision at the comments from Gimple and company about this lasting 20 years. And maybe that also sobered him up. Like, people even die like, come on. Are we going to watch Andrew Lincoln die of a heart attack? Is he going to break his hip on this show? Like seriously?
I mean, you can do, if you really want to do the soap opera thing and, have actors who've been on the show for 20 years, I suppose you could, but I don't know if our current TV climate can sustain that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I feel like the only way they could do that is by recasting the entire cast, which I kind of would
bulk
be.
Of them, yeah.
I would be open to that. Mm-hmm. Like, Star Trek's done it. Marvel's going to have to do it. James Bond does it all the time. Like, there would be some very big shoes that they would be filling with certain members of these cast, but I don't know why you can't. If you want to tell the second part of the saga of like, let's take them at their word that Carl's going to take over and take the torch over from his dad. Recast Carl. And put another, a completely new group of survivors around them. Maybe you can keep some guys like King Ezekiel around and some of the other communities, because that's going to be presumably a big part of the story going forward, and see what happens there. But hard to imagine they're going to keep Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride and et cetera, for another 10 years. As much as it does, I do think they do still have a good time, it seems like, and it seems like that they see each other kind of like as family, which has probably helped some of this bullshit go down better.
Yeah, I don't know. So as far as what you've seen shown in the previews of season 8, what's your temperature on it?
I mean, I think that it's, and I've said this so many times that I'm not. The reason I'm not more excited is because
fool me 7 times, shame on me.
This is the biggest storyline in terms of set pieces that they've ever told, and it's very camera ready. And if they just tell it at an appropriate pace, I think it will be compelling.
Okay.
So that's why I'm pretty excited, and I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is an excellent Negan, and that's half the battle. You got to have a really good, like, no one liked the governor. I mean, hardcore fans did, but like, there's 5 years on, how many people really see him as this iconic villain? And like, even Negan in the comic books has stolen a lot of the governor's hype from the comic book run. So the fact that they kind of nailed Negan, and I did think that they got a little lazy with Negan. We talked about how like there's a temptation just to like give Jeffrey Dean Morgan some funny stuff to say and have him do that weird Lilton bounce that he does on his heels and have the Lucille on his shoulder, and there you go. But at the end we saw some real vulnerability. Like that shit with Sasha freaked him out. And you could start seeing the slips in his facade and the cracks showing. So that's all good stuff that they can explore. Will they do a good job? I don't know, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like action stuff, I thought it looked pretty good. I was interested to see what is hopefully a prolonged like guerrilla tactics campaign.
Yeah,
against Negan. We see a lot of booby traps being placed. We see, and I don't know if this is like all just prep for one big battle that they're going to undertake, but what I would like to see, I guess, is this be all out war, you know? But it has to start kind of small because they don't have the numbers to wage all out war immediately.
right. And you know what?
They need these guerrilla tactics. So I'm hoping that's it.
Was noticeably absent in the preview materials? Eugene.
Yeah.
Like, big question coming out of last season is, like, who the fuck side is he on? Like, I'm very resistant to the idea that he's turned permanent turncloak, but by
I think
God,
he's an opportunist. So
they're really,
who knows?
yeah, they're really, they've got me kind of believing in that now.
And I think they did a fairly good job with that, too.
Yes.
Like, from the beginning of Eugene's character, you know, you never quite get a grip on where his loyalties are. And
Right.
even when you find out the situation under which he came by Abraham, that only services to twist you up even more, right? I think that was pretty good, and I don't know how much of that is directly from the comics, how much of that is made up for the screen. But
Because you didn't make it this far.
I did not. I did not read past
The governor arc.
Yeah, the governor stuff. So yeah, I think that's a pretty compelling question going into season 8.
Okay.
The other thing, we watched a short scene or a snippet of a scene, I guess, of everybody kind of gearing up for the war, or not gearing up, but like talking it through, like Maggie and Rick and Ezekiel and Gabriel. I think Ezekiel and Gabriel might actually be writing a new Bible together based on Ezekiel's words.
And Jesus, you got to throw Jesus in
And
there,
Jesus
too.
was there too, right?
It's a New Testament.
Yeah, I think that you could really do it pretty well. But I like the stuff between Maggie and Rick, and I think that scene was mostly done well. I just hope that's not like 3 episodes worth of the show, because they have a tendency to do that.
If they continue to have these sort of like samey, rah-rah war councils, that'll be pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that I was kind of blown back, surprised by in the season 8 trailer is it looks like Jesus and Morgan come to blows. Now, watch it, they're just sparring.
That's my guess. They're sparring.
And then AMC marketing people are being fuckfaces. But I thought that was like, some of the scenes they show seem like they're going a little harder than you'd expect people just sparring to go.
Sure. Who do you think wins in that battle? Because they're both the masters of their craft, right? You got sneaky
Jesus
ninja
got the
Jesus,
moves, but you know, it's hard to beat that reach that Morgan's got with that bow staff.
And we know he's the bowmaster,
right?
So
he's been working out Bowflex every day.
Yeah, not a real question. But.
What else is kind of what's because I talked about what excites me. What's exciting you about the new season?
So I think that's it. Like the idea of this sort of prolonged war with an understaffed hilltop / kingdom / Alexandria against the very well prepared Negan forces. I mean, it should be just a home run. You should just nail that, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much to do it, and that's the thing that excites me is they have a premise that they can just follow by the numbers, and this thing should be good.
All right, can we talk about the legal travails that Walking Dead has aired its dirty laundry over the offseason?
Yeah, what a clusterfuck.
So if you look at the court documents that came out, and you either followed this or didn't, you know,
I followed it at like surface level.
The big thing is there was a he said she said with this lawsuit that Darabont was suing Walking Dead over for, you know, royalties and stuff that he's owed. But a lot of things that came out were some emails, back and forth emails between Frank Darabont and different producers and executives in AMC, where he used very foul language and said a lot of disparaging things about his directors and the writing room, and questioning the fact that there is a writer's room, using a lot of foul language. And there's seemed like a divide between like, oh, wow, didn't know Frank Darabont was such an asshole, to Frank was mad and he was angry and maybe he wasn't as professional as he could have been in those email communications, but he's kind of right. What side do you kind of come down on?
My side is I don't care. Like, Frank Darabont can be a miserable asshole and still be in the right. You know, if the other part of this, which is the essential sabotage of AMC for this show, like cutting the budget in season 2 and not giving him enough time or money to do the job.
Because the prologue was that he did the very tough schedule and very tough budget of season 1, the 6 episodes, with the idea that when they came back, he would have a bigger budget. Yeah. And what they did is they came back with twice the episodes, same budget. Mm-hmm. And he seems like a man who's losing his mind in the season 2 production.
And I'm sure he's under enormous stress. I don't want to sympathize with him. I don't want to shit all over him. What I want to say is AMC seems like they were jerking him around, and put that on top of like the Kirkman stuff and all the other people who've come out and said, hey, AMC has done some really nefarious accounting shit to keep us from making any money off this by paying themselves essentially some kind of rate that doesn't match at all the scale they would pay for other studios.
Yeah, this is company store shit.
Right, like, totally. Yeah. So, like, when you combine those ideas and you say, okay, this was AMC's goal from the start, and Darabont probably, like, in contract, deserves to get this money. Like, they probably have an agreement where if they paid a fair amount for all this, he would make money. I don't care if he's an asshole.
Well, that's the thing. It's like also a lot of the stuff that he alleges and the internal emails jive with what my recollection of, like, he's talking about the season 2 premiere being just an amateur hour, and I'm like,
he got the footage and he said this is
terrible.
Horseshit.
How am I even going to? And he had to do all these reshoots, and I think it shows. Like
it does.
When we were watching it with fresh eyes, are like, this shit is staged terrible. There's no sense of direction. There's like the location scouts did a shitty job of finding a place to stage this action. Like it did seem like it was something in disarray.
And then like, they put that on Darabont to oust him. Like,
and that's the thing, like
as an excuse.
You know, I've been like not an executive, but I've certainly been in middle management and slightly higher, and I've been known to rip a couple assholes that needed to be ripped because they you come across incompetent people in your job, and you can try to work with them. You can try, but if they're not going to be professional, if they're not going to do their job, and the people that, like, your bosses don't give you any support, like what the hell do you do? Eventually, you know, things get ugly. You know,
yeah. I mean, it's being set up to fail, right?
Right.
Like if your job is to make this show a success and raise it from the ground from nothing, and you're given improper tools for the job,
right?
And when you complain about the tools, you're ignored and told to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then you fail at your mission. That isn't ultimately your fault,
right? And I've never. And the thing that's complicated is, like, maybe I've never said anything like that, but I've also never been in a contract. Like if the shit got too bad, I could just go find another job and say, step off the deck of the Titanic onto something else. Darabont's under
without
contract.
Breaching contract and getting your ass sued.
So he's either got to get fired or things have got to improve. And I guess are there stories of Frank Darabont just being this massive asshole in Hollywood? I feel like the rep around him is he's got a bunch of loyal crew member and actors that have worked with them a bunch of times and like working with them. That's how he got so many great actors for The Walking Dead, because of his reputation. Like, I don't think he has a reputation for being a loose cannon asshole that doesn't know how to run a production. So, like, I guess all my sympathies tend to be towards him, and surprise, surprise, not really towards the executives at AMC who I've been eviscerating for seasons now.
Right. So, I don't know. And obviously, this is not a comment on, like, the legal part of this, but as perceived by the mainstream public, I think this looks very bad for AMC. Especially, like, once again, this is not all just about Darabont, right? In the following weeks after the documents came out from Darabont's case, we also saw Robert Kirkman suing them. We also saw...
And Robert, he's off the production now, right?
Who else? He's off production. Who else?
Is that a good thing or bad thing? No, I think Gimple...
I don't think it's going to change anything, because I don't think, like, day to day he was able to do much based on what I saw.
I think Gimple and Nicotero are also joined in that too.
Right, Nicotero definitely, yeah.
Essentially the entire executive production staff.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good for AMC. This looks like a pattern of abuse.
And not just that, but like AMC is a competitor in the creative landscape.
Yeah.
And they're competing against the Hulus and Netflixes and HBOs of the world. And this shit getting out in the public, why in the hell would you, if you had a choice, shop your stuff to AMC Studios if like they're going to go to the bottom of the barrel type of concept stuff because of this kind of, this is the kind of shit that's like, honestly, I mean, I don't keep track of this, like, but it wouldn't be surprised if like an executive gets fired over stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because how in the hell can you lure good talent and good shows to make money if you've got this reputation of penny pinching and not keeping your word and not giving them the talent and materials that they deserve and need on your biggest flagship show?
Right. The one where you need to spend the money, you know? Especially when, I don't know if you read this article, but I recently read that Netflix over the next year, by the end of 2018, plans to spend $8 billion to get their catalog to 50/50 Netflix originals.
Right.
And their other stuff.
Yeah.
So there's money out there for people who are looking to create properties and shows.
And that will respect you as a creator and support
Right.
you. And when you get a season 2, go bigger rather than trying to cut it by half.
Yeah. I mean, those opportunities are out there. AMC is not the only player in the game, so looks bad for them.
Okay. Finally, it's time to talk spoilers. So this is the part of the podcast where if you have not read the comic books and you want to stay, you know, pure as the driven snow for Rick and his beard coming into season 8, then you might want to stop listening because we're going to talk about what we saw in these trailers transposed with the comic book. Okay. One of the big things in the trailer that got people a buzz was Rick waking up from what looks like a coma, or essentially looks like Rick from the first episode waking up with a big Santa Claus beard.
And significantly grayer hair.
There's some people that say that this is the craziest theory that is absolutely stupid, not bearing talking about, is that you're going to find out that Rick's been in a coma all along.
None of this nothing
actually
through season
happened.
1 through 7.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No fucking way.
No.
A more compelling version of that is in the comic books, there's a big flash forward after the all-out war.
Okay.
Now, and then this is suggesting like Rick's going to wake up and that's going to be, you know, we're going to realize that all these years, like, you know, 2, 3, 5 years perhaps have passed.
Okay. I could buy that.
My only question is, would that be the finale of the mid-season, or is that the season finale? Essentially, is All Out War going to be 8 episodes or 16?
I mean, if it were me running it, I would say 8.
Because I feel like that's a hell of a mid-season finale. Like, oh my God, old-ass Rick waking up and it's 5 years later.
And I don't know that even an all-out war warrants 16 episodes. If this were a 10-episode season, I'd say, 10 episodes.
Because think about All Out War.
Even 13.
It took like 45 seconds to read an episode.
Yeah.
Because it was just splash panel after splash panel after action after action. It's yeah. So like, even though, you know, Kirkman did double time production, like they were releasing for a while there 2 episodes a month, it was a lot of action, which visually takes a lot of space to tell, but it didn't actually have a lot of plot.
Right.
And where television's the opposite. Like an action-packed episode, you know, it takes like if it's a pure action episode, it takes us like, you know, a quarter of the time to cover as a dialogue-heavy, plot-heavy episode. Yeah. So if all of these are just wham bam, set piece, boom, moving on to the next one, you could burn through a lot of plot very quickly.
Yeah, and that's why I say I would probably run it as 8, because I don't want to see yet more, you know, repetitive scenes of characters fretting about the war and like what it means and who they are and that kind of shit we've seen so many times before. And
they're going to be in a pickle, because I'm very curious to see how many people come back this year, and I feel like every time they have a slowdown or a misstep, they're going to lose 250,000 to 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's because that's what we're starting to see. But if they keep the momentum where it's like, oh my God, flash forward, now what? People come back next spring or late winter, and then you can maintain that momentum into the next season. But if they stretch All Out War and the big intra-season cliffhanger is old man Rick waking up from 5 years slumber, I don't know how that's going to play. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because it also says something about to people who are unfamiliar with the story in the comics about the fate of Rick, right? I mean, he's not going to die in this all-out war potentially,
right?
Depending on what you think this scene with the beard is.
Now the thing is, like, I guess I would expect that they are going to have this be a scene in this season because that's how they're not. But on the other hand, I could see them also shooting this now for, I don't know, because they wanted Andrew Lincoln's beard to be at its beardliest. Like, that's the first thing they shot to save for next half of this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sometimes they do shit like that. But otherwise, I'd say it's pretty good evidence that we're probably going to have the flash forward this half of the season, which I would be. That's my dream is we get the flash forward at the very end of this half season. Yeah. So then next season is going to be like a brand new Walking Dead, which would be very exciting.
It would be. So I'm wondering like how long they're going to hold on to Andrew Lincoln in the context of that scene. Like if they reboot and do a whole new Walking Dead, I mean, where does that leave Rick, right? You can't. What are you going to kill him the next episode? You're going to bring him back for season 9, kill him in the premiere, and be done with Rick? And now it's the Carl
there's
story.
There's already a whole bunch of torch. Like in this preview we saw that. Rick is saying, hey, I'm going to follow you, Matt. He's intentionally handing
Maggie up,
that torch off. So I feel like that maybe, one of the compelling stories you could tell in season 8B is show that this show can survive the death of Rick and kill him.
Yeah.
Just have it turn over to Carl and Maggie and who else. Like, I think that
maybe this scene is actually played in reverse. And we actually see Rick has injected himself with a lethal dose of heroin. And he's laid down in the bed, and the screen goes black instead of fading up from black.
Yeah.
And then Rick's out. That's it. That's the end of the season.
We'll see if they go with
it would
that.
be meth, you're right. Because apparently The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad take place in the same universe.
That's true. It's been said before.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing, I guess, talking about crossovers real quick, is I guess they're trying to connect. They're going to do some kind of crossover for Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because we know they happen. This is the same apocalypse, right? Mm-hmm. They're in the same universe together.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't read like exactly how they plan on doing it. I don't think anybody actually knows. But there is speculation out there.
I saw that some people are saying it's going to be because no one said like, oh, was a Walking Dead character going to Fear or is a Fear character going to Walking Dead?
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that you're going to get like the origin story of T-Dog.
Okay.
And I'm like,
all right.
I love me some T-Dog, and he didn't get served during his time. But also, is that big enough to help out Fear?
Maybe. I don't know. They couldn't get Merle because he's too big now. The Guardians is blown up.
Right. I'm kind of curious to see how that how they what direction they go with that as myself.
Yeah. How many of the regular cast members do you think are going to escape the production this year? And by that I mean die. Think we're going to have some pretty big deaths. Like a Daryl.
Daryl.
What's your feeling on Daryl this year?
I feel like I've played that card out.
I'm saying I think this is the first time.
There's gonna be a purge of like I think the Terras of the world. Like this might be the Fist Bump's last ride.
Okay.
I feel like Aaron might be a casualty. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of that cleaning, and probably one big name too.
Daryl and Carol are high up on my slate.
Daryl or Carol, honestly, because she just is a ghost at this point.
Yeah.
She is just there to see her people be protected, and then I think in her ideal world, she checks out.
Yeah. This is gonna be the season where I predict definitely Daryl is dead. I don't think I've ever said that before. I think it's always been like, nah, I don't really see Daryl dying yet, or like, maybe his contract's approaching 0, but this is the year.
All right.
Daryl's dead.
Well, I think that's a strong possibility. I just didn't want to be the one to say it.
I'll say it.
All right, well, if you got feedback, again, we come back this weekend. Walking Dead comes back. We do too. We'll be back next week with